What if a single lie could ruin the love of your life, your family, and your future? Set in the beautiful sun-kissed city of Port Harcourt, affectionately nicknamed Port Harcourt, dashing millionaire Silas Nwosu pursues his ideal of true love, only to become trapped by a secret so ruinous it disintegrates all he holds close. This is no ordinary tale. It's a heart-wrenching lesson on trust, betrayal, and the price of deceit. Will love triumph, or will one reckless lie ruin it all? Buckle up for an emotional roller coaster, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more jaw-dropping Nigerian love stories. Drop a comment telling us where you're watching from. Shout outs to our Jamaican besties, Victoria Annan and Michelle Brown, and our global fam from Lagos. Let's dive into this unforgettable tale. Can besties, Victoria Annan and Michelle Brown, and our global fam from Lagos to London. The Golden Bachelor of Port Harcourt. The Golden Bachelor of Port Harcourt. In the midst of Port Harcourt, where the Niger Delta's oil riches fuel ambition and dreams, Silas Nwosu was a man who turned heads. At 38, he was imposing at 6 feet tall, his smooth chocolate skin radiating under the tropical sun, his wide shoulders filling out starched agbada with easy swagger. His grin, wide, white, and winning, could beguile a market woman into handing him tomatoes for free. He was a property tycoon with a shiny office in the high-end GRA district, where he signed multi-million naira deals every day, selling mansions and skyscraper estates. His own mansion, a masterful estate with marble floors, a rooftop swimming pool, and a home cinema blaring DSTV's bouquet of all channels, was the pride of Port Harcourt's elite. His garage contained a shining black Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon, and his bank account could purchase anything his heart wanted, except for the one thing his heart truly yearned for: a wife. Silas's heart was an empty cave of loneliness, vibrating with dreams left unfulfilled. He'd always pictured himself married by 35, his house filled with the sounds of children in primary school, a good wife beside him. But at 38, his romantic life was as empty as an unfinished building on the outskirts of town. No wife, no children, not even a serious girlfriend. Society gossiped behind his back. His mother complained about grandkids on every Sunday phone call, and his own heart longed for attachment. Why was this ideal catch still unattached? A secret deep within his DNA contained the answer. A secret soon to unravel his life. The cause of his genotype. Silas had a burden worse than that of his riches, his AS genotype. In Nigeria, where sickle cell disease looms long over generations, his genotype seemed like a curse etched into his essence. It had already taken his love of his life a decade earlier when he was serving in National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, in Kano. She was Anita Okoye, a lady so stunning she could bring traffic to a standstill on Ahmadu Bello Way. Hourglass shape, quick wit as a financial analyst, and a religious devotion that earned her top billing as morning devotions camp leader. Anita was Silas's ideal woman. Her egusai soup was on par with any chef's, and her laughter was a tune that calmed his soul. Their love was a Nollywood plot. Lunch outings at neighborhood bookers, wee hour WhatsApp conversations with emoticons, and snatched kisses under Kano moonlight. For 5 years, they had a love so sweet that palm wine became bitter. Silas asked in a candlelit restaurant, violins playing, roses scattered on the table. Anita's yes was the happiest day of his life, and their future shone brighter than her diamond ring. But as they made preparations for their dream wedding, Eso Ebi selected, caterers hired. A routine medical test shattered their dream. Anita was AS2. The doctor's pronouncement was a death sentence to their love. You can't marry. The danger of having a child with sickle cell anemia is too great. 25% chance per child. Tears ran like the Niger River. Anita wept in Silas's arms and he felt his heart break. The wedding was off, invitations incinerated, dreams destroyed. Silas was so devastated that he broke down, ending up in the hospital for weeks, inundated with sorrow. Why me? He wailed, gazing at the clinical hospital ceiling. Would he ever be able to love again? Or was his genotype a life sentence to loneliness? A fervent pursuit of love. Undeterred by his scars, Silas plunged headlong into the dating world with the desperation of a Lagos hustler. Each weekend, he wore his best senator attire and gate-crashed weddings all over Port Harcourt, his eyes searching for a woman as poised as Anita and with an AA genotype. He registered on all the dating apps, Tinder, Bumble, Niger Connect, swiping profiles until his thumbs cramped. He went to church revivals, books clubs, even speed dating at a posh Victoria Island club. But each date ended in disaster. Some of the women were too bland, jollof rice without pepper, as he would tease his friends. Others were too flashy, reeking of fake Gucci, and boisterous laughter that irritated his sensibilities. A few caught his attention, refined, prosperous, God-fearing. But the instant they disclosed their AS genotype, his heart fell. Is God testing me? He grumbled one evening, standing in front of his bathroom mirror, his full beard taunting him for being unmarried. While his friends, Femi and Lai, married and had children, sharing number, family goals on Instagram, Silas, the golden bachelor, was stuck in a cycle of optimism and disappointment. The pressure was crushing. Society was expecting a wife, his mother was insisting on grandchildren, and his heart was insisting on love. Would he finally meet his soulmate or end up in a bachelor's grave? A fatal wedding and a spark of hope. A steamy Saturday morning, Silas and his buddies, Femi and Lai, were invited to the wedding of a university mate in an upscale banquet hall in Port Harcourt. It was a splash of colors, partygoers in bright aso ebi, tables loaded with pounded yam, egusi stew, and jollof rice scented like heaven. There was a live band playing P-Square's No One Like You, and the dance floor thumped with shaku shaku and zanku. But Silas was not in the mood to party. He sat at the reception, his plate of jollof unfilled, his face longer than Third Mainland Bridge. The MC made people laugh with jokes that had the audience erupting. The bride and groom laughed like they'd found the key to everlasting happiness, yet Silas was submerged in heartbreak. Another wedding, another reminder I'm single, he grumbled, drinking his lukewarm Heineken. Femi, always the prankster, leaned in. Guy, quit looking like you just lost your life savings. This is a wedding, not a funeral. Lai, whose sharp mouth and zero filter are legendary, added, Bro, if being a wedding goer was an Olympic sport, you'd be a gold medalist by now. You attend every wedding as if they're doling out free plots in Banana Island. Silas gave them a bombastic side-eye. You both are married with 2 children each, so you laugh. Me, I'm exhausted with this single life. His voice was low, but the resentment was booming. He was fed up with watching small boys with the new beards marrying pretty girls, while he, full-bearded and fat bankrolled, remained alone. Just as he sighed for the 20th time, the bride's train swished into the hall and everything shifted. Enter Mariam, a vision in gold. From the rear of the procession emerged Mariam Adebayo, or I, as she'd also come to refer to herself. She was a vision in a flowing soft gold lace gown that clung to her curves like an amorous hug. Her ebony complexion shone under the chandeliers. Her waist was cinched, and her strut radiated a quiet confidence that hushed the room. She wasn't boisterous or exaggerated. She was class incarnate, with an aura that yelled sense and refinement. Silas's jaw fell. His heart pounded like a Danfo driver evading lastma. "Hold on, guys, I must see her," Silas announced, smoothing his agbada and disregarding his friend's cautions. "Find out her genotype first. Oh, don't go falling in love and chopping breakfast again." Silas didn't mind. He threaded through the thronging corridor like a fighter pilot with a mission, dodging aunties waving fans and uncles squirting naira notes. In front of Mariam, he gave his million-naira grin and let loose with a corny one. "Hi, I'm Silas. You just lost something." "My jaw, because you're absolutely gorgeous." Mariam giggled, her eyes sparkling like stars over the Niger Delta. They chatted awkwardly, and Silas discovered her name was Mariam, A for short, and miracle of miracles, she was available. One wish granted. They exchanged numbers, and Silas departed the wedding on a cloud of possibility, his heart whispering, "This may be it." A love too perfect to question. That evening, Silas couldn't help himself. He stalked Mariam's Instagram and Facebook, scrolling through her posts like a sleuth. She was an HR manager working for a leading oil company, flying business class to Dubai, Paris, and London for vacations. Her closet was a procession of designer gowns. Her posts oozed sagacity, and her holiday post yelled affluence and autonomy. "This is the full package," Silas reckoned, kissing his phone like a child with a new PlayStation. Their conversations were charged. Morning texts with heart emojis, late night phone calls filled with laughter, and hours of gist about dreams, childhood, and work. Silas fabricated cooking egusi soup to woo her, boasting that he could match her culinary skills. Their weekend outings were ripped from a rom-com: dinner at Sky Lounge, walks along the water, and hands clasped under candlelight. Mariam was all Silas had ever dreamed of: lovely, successful, godly, and sharp-tongued enough to roast him when he got too arrogant. But there was one nagging question that hung like a thunderstorm. What was she genetically? Silas packed it away at the back of his mind, too scared to spoil the enchantment. He was falling deep, and nothing, not even his previous heartbreak with Anita, could halt him. Or so he believed. The lie that changed everything. Mariam's expression became solemn one night as they shared mocktails at a restaurant on the roof, looking down at the glittering lights of Port Harcourt. "Silas, I have something to know," she spoke quietly but firmly. "I'm AS. What is your genotype? I've been through too much to waste time on something that won't be possible." Silas became immobile. His heart shouted, "Tell the truth! Your ass too!" But his lips betrayed him. "I'm AA," he lied, his voice barely steady, his palms sweating. Mariam's face lit up with relief. "Thank God," she said, squeezing his hand. "I was so worried." Silas forced a smile, but inside his stomach churned. His friends had warned him. Ask genotype first. Save yourself breakfast. But he'd ignored them, swept away by love and desperation. He couldn't lose Mariam. Not after Anita, not after all those years of solitude. The lie seemed small, insignificant, a very minor price to pay for love, but it was a bomb waiting to go off. What had he done? A dream wedding built on deception. 6 months later, Silas proposed under fairy lights at a seaside resort, waves crashing as Mariam accepted. Their engagement planning was a roller coaster of happiness, selecting sapphire blue Aso Ebi, reserving a 5-star event center, and envisioning the future with children and a Lekki vacation home. When their pastor at Redeemed Christian Church insisted on genotype test results, Silas performed a magician's feat, fabricating an AA certificate with all the dexterity of a professional scam artist. The church gave their nod, and their wedding was a show. 500 friends and family members in designer clothes, a band performing Davido's Assurance Live, and Mariam shining in a white gown like a celestial being. Marriage life was heaven. Mariam joined Silas at his mansion, renovating with contemporary art and her own jollof rice that trumped any caterer. They shared a joint account, saved up for children, and giggled during midnight Indomie nights. But under the surface, Silas's falsehood pulsed. Whenever Mariam brought up their potential children, his gut twisted. He had seen a doctor who cautioned him. A 25% possibility their child might be born with sickle cell anemia, a 50% chance they'd be AS, and a 25% possibility they'd be AAA. Silas held on to the 75% possibility of a healthy child, shoving the truth further into the darkness. But the falsehood was a noose around his neck. The joy of parenthood and the fear of truth. Mariam told him she was pregnant 6 months into the marriage. Silas was ecstatic, spinning her around their living room as they giggled and made up names for their future child. But fear moved in like a midnight thief. He recalled what the doctor had said, and each ultrasound visit filled him with fear. What if the child inherited sickle cell? He spent most nights sleeping with his eyes open, staring at the ceiling, praying, God, please, let this child be healthy. As Mariam's pregnancy advanced, so did Silas's worry. He grew morose, lashing out at little things, his perpetual smile receding. Honey, are you okay? Mariam asked one night, her voice gentle with worry. You've been sighing like a weeping dragon. I'm the one with the baby, so why are you worried? Silas smiled falsely. It's just work. He lied once more, his guilt devouring him. He could not tell her the truth, not now, not when she shone with optimism. But the lie was strangling him. A baby boy and a shattering revelation. 10 months on, Mariam had a beautiful boy, David, at a private clinic in Gra. The delivery was quick, and David was immaculate, small, with Mariam's eyes and Silas's nose. Mariam was over the moon as she held her son, her face streaming with tears of joy. Silas was also content, but his guilt hung over the moment. David was tiny and fragile compared to other babies, and Silas couldn't help but worry. Was his son a sickler? Disaster struck a month later. David began falling ill, pale complexion, puffy hands and feet, and screaming that cut through the night like a siren. Mariam was afraid. This isn't normal, she exclaimed, hurrying him into the hospital. The doctor's diagnosis came crashing down like a sledgehammer. David had sickle cell anemia. Mariam's world fell apart. How? My husband is AA, she insisted, her voice shaking with confusion and terror. The doctor did not budge. The tests are 99.999% accurate. You can have a second opinion. Mariam went to 3 hospitals, her heart falling with every test. The news was the same. David had sickle cell. Confusion gave way to suspicion. Somebody had lied. Oh, that night, she came home, David in her arms, tears running down her face. She caught Silas on the couch, a thief caught red-handed looking. Silas, why did you lie about your genotype? She asked her, her voice soft but lethal, slicing through the silence like a sharp object. The truth explodes. Silas knelt before her, tears shedding like rain. I'm sorry, I'm AS. I was desperate. I loved you so much. I couldn't let you go. Mariam's face contorted in pain, which was a physical burden. You lied to keep me. You bet with our son's future, she screamed, her voice cracking. You know the agony David will endure, the hospital trips, the crisis, the life he will have. Why, Silas? Did I slight you? Silas was speechless, just sobs. Mariam's suffering was a dagger to his heart, riding with each tear she cried. She packed her bags that night, took David along with her, and left with her parents, who came in a rage. This marriage is over, Mariam said icily. Silas begged, screamed, pleaded, please, forgive me. But in vain. The love he had struggled for was lost, killed by his own dishonesty. A shattered future, a broken man. Weeks went by, and Silas was a shadow of his former self. His mansion, filled with the sound of laughter, had become a mausoleum of regret. He called Mariam day and night, but she'd blocked him on WhatsApp, Instagram, all of it. He went to her parents' residence in Eleme, only to be told she'd moved to the US with David. She'll get in touch when she's ready, spat her mother, her voice filled with anger and disappointment. Silas came home a broken man, his G-Wagon a hearse. Every evening he replayed his decisions, tormented by the doctor's words, Mariam's tears, and David's small puffed up hands. He'd wanted love so much, he'd risked a child's future. His mother no longer called, his friends no longer joked, and his mirror showed him a stranger, a man who'd lost all to a lie. Was it worth it? Oh, such a tearjerker of a story! Have you ever experienced a betrayal this deep? If you were Mariam, would you forgive Silas? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Let's gist. Have you or someone close to you ever called off a wedding due to genotype problems? Tell us your tales. We're reading them all. Moral of the story. Little lies, however insignificant, can ruin lives. Transparency regarding serious matters such as genotype, health, or previous errors is an absolute. Be honest with your partner. Trouble always finds its way out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more gripping love stories, relationship advice, and real-life drama. Special shout out to our global fam, Victoria Anine, Michelle Brown, and tell us where you're watching from in the comments for a shout out in our next video. Until next time, stay true and never hide a truth that could change your life.